Hi traders, hope you're enjoying your weekend as usual. You shouldn't be in the charts like me. I'm the one sitting here in the charts doing some work while you guys should be having fun. If you have never seen my video, my name is Anil and this is my weekly outlook. What is this going to give you? It's going to give you the review of all the majors and some other charts that I have that I've seen setups where good trades could possibly be. Now, today I'm not going to go through the whole list of charts we do because we normally do an entire list and all my weekly outlook. It's about an hour and a half. I think that's way too long for you. This entire list you see here is all we do in our trading room. So if you follow me and you haven't seen the video I recorded yesterday, please go on YouTube, watch that video, share it. It's very important. Now, I'll tell you why I record that video. The video is called Stop Buying Forex Courses Until You Watch This Video. So the last 2 weeks, I spent the weekend. I was home, babysitting. I spent the weekend watching tons of Forex videos. I mean, a lot of them. Well, some of them I watched for like 5 minutes because they were crazy. I couldn't keep myself watching longer. Some of them I watched for like 30 minutes or so, just to get an idea what's happening in the Forex market out there. And trust me, if I was a newbie trying to buy a course, now I'll go crazy. If I was a newbie trying to figure out what Forex is, I would go crazy with the amount of different stuff out there. It's so much, it's too much. It's like too much. I mean, if you just Google Forex trading, you'll get 1 million videos. If you Google Forex course, you'll get another 1 million videos. It doesn't matter if you Google Forex strategy, you're going to get another 1 million videos. There are millions of videos out there. So how do you learn? How do you know what to choose? Watch the video I posted yesterday. Make sure you share that video as much as possible, right? It's not the sales pitches. You don't have to buy my course. That video is just to educate you how to choose a Forex course. And it will help. If I had seen a video like that before I bought support and resistance course for $5,000, which I paid for 5-6 years ago, I would have never bought that course. I would have saved myself $5,000. And I want to save you $5,000. So you look at that video first, make sure you share it. Everybody look at it. There's no obligations. You just look at it. You like it, you don't like it, it's okay, but you should still share it. Allow the other person to watch it and make his choice. It's just an instruction on how to pick a Forex course. I hope you enjoy it. Now let's go. Today I'm going to do a slight 5 minutes education before I start this webinar. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you understand. Now, while I was looking at a lot of those videos, what I learned is something called the illusion of Forex. Now, that's a new topic I'm introducing. You will hear that very soon. You will hear that in the internet. It will explode. The illusion of Forex trading. What is the illusion of Forex trading? So here's the deal, how it will go. A lot of Forex traders will come in. Let me take any charts. I'll chop these charts at any given point, right? Allow me that because that would explain to you what I mean. So I saw this pretty often and a lot of Forex thing, right? I saw a few things which were crazy, but these two are very important. I'm just going to pick up 2 topics today that you should pay attention to. So let's chop it here. And what you would see Forex traders would tell you is that, okay, I expect this market to continue to go. After it does, I expect it to continue to go because it makes a correction. They will tell you every time you get a move, you're going to get a correction, you're going to go. And that is absolutely correct. I mean, that is absolutely correct. Every time the market makes a move, it will correct itself, then drop, correct? You don't need to be a pro to know that. By looking at the charts, you can see that, right? And they would say, we're buying. We're buying because we've got a correction, we're buying. And I want you to take this date and go back. All the Forex video, go back to this date and find they were all buying. So why they were all buying? Well, because you had a correction. And that is also correct. You should expect an up move from here. The problem with that illusion is that no one tells you where to enter. No one tells you where the stop is going to be, and no one tells you what to do once you get it to go positive. Right? I don't do that in my videos as well. In these videos, we don't do that. That's just giving you analysis. And what I figure out is if you're a newbie or if you're a trader trying to learn this stuff and you jump into a trade like that, you could end up with a loss because this is what would happen to you. And I'm going to go through step by step. First, you would get into the trade. Maybe you will get a few pips and then you'll watch it reverse against you. So at this point, what would you do? At this point, you would like panic, especially if you didn't have a stop. If you had a stop, you're stopped out in that trade. If you didn't have a stop, you would panic to hell because you have no idea what to do with it. They tell you it's going to go, it went, but it didn't go to where they tell you it's going to go. And you're confused to hell. I know you're confused. My traders, we took that trade, but we got out of that trade way before it even came back to that level. It's something we do call trade management. There's a strict set of rules of when, how, and what to do if it's not going to your target. Now, that's not something I'm going to share here because that's for my group. If you want to learn how to do that, what you should do is take some of my live trading classes. It's pretty easy. For you to know what to do with that, or any guru to guide you, or any Forex trainer or mentor, whatever you call them, to guide you on what to do with that, you would have to be trading with them live. That's the only way you learn how to manage a trade like that correctly. Now, although this was going up, if you were following me also, you would notice we assumed that that could drop. Why? Because we looked at the bigger structure and we saw this and we saw this. And I showed you that structure many times. We're not going to go into it. If you watch my video, you will know. We knew that was going to drop, just like I've showed you for the last 2 weeks, that we know. Let me just close that. It's not important. I just wanted to show you that piece. We knew that this was going to drop. Go back and look at my last week's video. You will know. We're anticipating that drop and we sold it. Now, where we sold it, why we sold it, how we sold it, and where we managed the trade to get out, and when we got in back, is all of the things I can't give you here because that happens on the spot. I can tell you we're likely going to be selling this again, but there isn't a sell setup in it. At the moment, there isn't a sell setup. At the moment, the most likely possibility is this thing is going to go back up to the top here, probably make a flat like this, and then drop. That is likely going to happen, not necessarily going to happen. I can't tell the chart what to do, but I can follow what it's doing. I can decide that this is a buy setup or this is a sell setup at a given moment. The longer term is still downside. Whether the shorter term gives me a bias is, it will depend on whether we take that trade in our trading room. So you're going to say to me, well, here, look, Anil, I get it what you're saying, but how the hell would I manage? What would I do? Look, there are 1,000 videos there, and everybody has their own strategy and their own analysis, and some of copying your analysis as well. How would we know where the pullback is and what to do? There's a simple solution to that. I'm going to give you a solution, and this is where we came up with that solution a while back after traders were losing really badly, just following the analysis. We're going to give you 2 sessions daily. Multiply by 5 days a week. That's 10 sessions for the week. Multiply by 4 weeks. That's 40 sessions for the month. 40 sessions. And all of that will be absolutely free. If you say to me, hey, I want to buy your course. So the indication that you're giving me that you would like to buy the course, the only thing you'll be paying for in your life is the course. Everything else after that is going to be absolutely free. So if you said to me, I would like to buy a course, send me $100. Send me a Skype message. I'll tell you how to do that. That $100 will go as an indication that you intend to buy the course. It's called an installment program where you can continue to, if you like what I do, you continue to pay, and the money will go towards paying for the course. Any amount you want to pay. Some traders pay $500 a month. Some traders pay $300 a month. Depends on how you can afford it. One guy paid $100 and then he just paid $2,400 the next thing because he liked what he got. Right? So it's up to you. For 40 sessions, $200. Well, that's about $2 something, right? It's less than $3. I don't know, how much. You divide it, you're going to get it. 4 by 10, that is, you're going to have a 2 to 20 for 5s. So it's going to be $250. Let's say $250. What can you buy for $250? I don't know. If you're trading Forex, can you afford $250 for a live session? An hour live session where you're going to actually see where we're taking the trades, why we're taking the trades, and all of that. So you're paying $250 for a live session. That's about it, an hour and a half live session. Sometimes it goes for 2 hours. Most time it's about standard an hour. And you will get the update within the day. So if you join us in the London session, you can join us in the New York session. We update you. My traders get 5 sessions a day free. They paid for the course. Those who completed the course, they get 5 sessions a day free every single day. And more. Sometimes they're there for hours nonstop. 5 sessions is like when we normally organize one or they do one early in the Asian, and then I join them late Asian, and then I do the London, and then we do a mid-London, then we do the ending London, and then they have as much sessions as they want in between and after that. Basically, there's another one of my trader who does the late New York session as well. And these guys just go all day. They can trade all day as long as the market is moving. When the market is quiet, sometimes it's 4 sessions, no problem. We do London, but we do London and New York every day. That there's no exception to that. So you will get 2 sessions. You will also get a recording of the daily webinar. The daily webinar is where I record everything. We go through all the pairs. It's boring, it's long, it's an hour and a half. But we record everything and tell you what we expect to happen to them. And you're going to get that. I'm sorry I had to do that at the start of this webinar, but that would help you understand that even though I'm giving you this analysis, it's not going to be as useful to you as if you come in and watch us do it live. Because then we can help you. You get to ask questions. By the way, a lot of the traders who join, they're enjoying it because they ask their questions, their struggles. Some people will come in and say, can you look at coffee for me? And yeah, we look at coffee for them. See, all of these, we don't really trade them, but all of those are charts we look at. Coffee, wheat, I don't know, some special stock in your country that you trade, only you trade, you might be the only person trading it. But we looked at it for you because we're here to help traders. That's the whole point. We're here to help you. And the only way we can help you is actually getting you in the room and training you, showing you how it's done. Now, if you join the installment program, you will still not become a super trader, right? But at least you're going to get help. You wouldn't struggle with your trades and you wouldn't have to be the only one making the decision. But to become an independent trader, you would have to take the course. That's where you learn how to do it. So with that, I'm going to end this one. Please watch that video. And if you intend to join, send me a Skype message. Let me type that very fast. MANGAL 457. I don't have a website. I don't have a WhatsApp where I'm going to ask you to send me. I saw some people taking my photograph and putting WhatsApp and trying to scam people. The only place you send me a message is Skype, and I would reply to you. Nowhere else. Don't send me a message anywhere else. Not on Facebook, not on email, nowhere. Just send me a Skype message. It's easy to do. If you don't have Skype, download it. It'll take you 3 minutes. All you need to do is use it for this purpose, because we keep the records in Skype. It stores the record. It doesn't go away. If you write me a year from now, it will still be there. And actually, one trader did that. I don't know if he will post it, but he actually showed me in his message. He wrote me last year and said, hey, what about your course? I'd like to join. And I gave him the details and he said, okay, let me think about it. And my reply to him was, don't rush. I think if I showed you it, he wouldn't be angry with me. I'm pretty sure, because he's actually made those comments there. So I'll show it. I hope he's not angry with me because I didn't ask him. Normally, I always ask permission, but I think he wouldn't really be angry. So I'll show you that message because he sent it to me and he said, let me show you. Okay, I think I can bring it over now. Let me bring that over. And here's the message. See? So he wrote me the message. And he actually underlined when he wrote the message. This is he sending back to me. He said, September 2020, I asked you about the course. And I said, okay, good. And he said, he can't do it now. His thing that he's not really ready to. And I'm like, okay, no need to rush. Wait until you're ready. That was 2020, 2 years ago. Now 2022, he's asking me for the same thing. And I gave him the same answer. And guess what? He is now in the installment program. I'm never going to rush you. I don't have a Black Friday sale. I don't have a, you have to hurry. If you don't buy it now, the world is going to collapse. I never force trader and rush trader into buying anything. I don't have a 10% discount. I don't have a 4%. I don't have that. I'm not in the sales business. I don't do pitches for sales. Do you want to learn to become a trader? That's my point. If you want to learn, eventually you're going to meet me, even if it's 2 years later, even if it's 4 years later, because you will go and you'll buy a lot of courses out there, but eventually you're going to come back here because this is where we're going to train you to become a successful trader. You wouldn't learn anywhere else, most likely. Maybe you will learn. I shouldn't say that. There might be people who will be able to train you and you might be successful at some point. But this is where you learn to trade. And this is where most of the people who learn to trade might be trading other people out there. So let's move on. I hope you understand this. So what I'm going to show you here is that there is no buy setup or sell setup at the moment. Monday morning come, we will get a buy setup. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a buy setup because the way I'm looking at this is this would probably go back up there, make this flat, and we are definitely going to be selling it from there. But that is only if we get a sell setup. Because if we don't get a setup, we wouldn't be doing anything. We might even, like I said, we might even be in the buy. We didn't buy this one because I didn't think they were going to go that far. But this time we're going to be buying this one if we get a buy setup. So how can I give you a trade in this analysis if nothing is there? Let's start. Dollar index. Dollar index, it's going up. But again, let me repeat this because, again, traders will get confused with this. The mere fact that we broke the low does not mean anything as yet. This thing could go make a new high. It could consolidate there for a very long time. It could drop tomorrow. Any of those three possibilities are open to happen. If any guru tells you otherwise, then he is trying to tell you what the market should do instead of him following what the market is doing. And most times gurus like that are wrong. One of them is shouting at the whole screen and shouting at the chart and shouting at you. Let me repeat it 3 times. I am bullish on the dollar index. That was when the dollar was here. That was so funny because I watched that video. Like I told you, I spent 2 weeks and watching video. The dollar was here and, it was going up slightly and he was like shouting at it. And let me repeat it 3 times to you. We are bullish on the dollar. And then next week, the guy posts, oh, and we are selling the dollar. I'm like, dude, you just shouted at everybody 3 times that you're bullish. How come you're selling it now? He repeated it 3 times because that's crazy. That's what you call crazy hype. We don't do that hype. This thing, at any given time, let me repeat this, at any given time in any one of the charts, there are 3 things that are going to happen. There are only 3 things that could happen. It could go up, it could go down, or it could go sideways. And at any given time that you're in a trade, we have rules of what you're going to do if it does any one of these, regarding whether you're buying, selling, or just watching the market. There's strict rules of if you're in a buy, what you should do, if you're in a sell, what you should do, and if the market goes sideways, what you should do. And that's how you trade, and you have to be live doing it, right? And we actually follow up with you 5 times a day. So what is it? Right now, there'll probably be a buy setup. It'll probably go sideways slightly. It will go up a little. It could stay within this range for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if they stay within that range. It could literally just tag the top and come back to the bottom here, not breaking out of the range and then going back up. That's what I call the ever-changing pattern. And I think when I mentioned it, one person asked me, well, if it's ever-changing, how are you going to trade it? Well, that's simple. That's why you need to join us. We show you how to trade the ever-changing pattern. What do I mean by the ever-changing pattern? Let me go back to the silver, because that is important. This one is really, really good for you to understand that. This thing, when it made 1, 2, 3, we told you we were waiting for it to go break the low. That was what our forecast, and we started looking for sell setups. When it started to do this, we were pretty sure it's going to just break the top and go here. And then it did this. And we know when you do that, you'll have to get at least one more up. And then I thought, okay, they'll come to about this top, and then they'll probably drop. Why am I looking for the sell in this thing? Although, I saw this up move. We saw that, we bought it. Why we're looking for the sell in the bigger picture of things? Because this is what we call a corrective structure. And until structurally there's a change to this, it's still a corrective structure. So when we started to see this, we figure out that I put the curve for you, told you that watch these curves. From the top of the curves, you want to look for sell setups. And I still believe we're going to come and break this low. That doesn't mean we're only selling. As of now, yeah, they're only sells. But could we buy this one to go back to the top there and then drop and go back there and then drop? Can we buy in these? Yeah, you can do that as well if you see a possible big flat forming. But I don't think there's going to be a big flat. Like I said, I'm not even sure we're going to take a trade to the upside, especially if Monday morning we wake up and this thing just spiked there in the Asian session, and we're definitely looking for a sell setup. Would that sell come to the bottom here? Not necessarily. It could come here and then start going back up there before it does that. So this is what I call the ever-changing pattern, where the structures tend to change, but still in the bigger view of things that happen. And I've made a ton of forecasts that, I give up showing you forecasts that are correct that I've done. Because you do the forecast correct doesn't mean you get a trade. So that's why I'm telling you, if you want the trade, you have to join us to see how the trade is being done. Forecast by itself is just analysis. How do you trade it? I made a wonderful oil forecast. I never traded oil. It actually worked 100%. I never traded oil. So there's a difference between you doing the analysis and you trading it. So join us and see how we trade it. And we can trade whatever you're trading, for that matter of fact. So let's go. Go back to the, well, we're in the silver now. Silver, I expect to go some more sideways. Probably go back to this stop here, and then we'll be looking for sell setup because it still looks very corrective. Which means I don't expect this to go back to the top there. But if we see structurally there's an impulse and a flag to the upside, we will consider the buy. Gold. Here's what I would never tell you. And if you watch all my webinars for the last, I don't know, since I'm doing this, I would never tell you why the market is doing what it's doing. You're never going to hear that from me. Because if I tell you that, then I'll be lying to myself. And I'll be lying to you. If I tell you why gold went up, I'll be lying to you. That's me trying to tell you that I know why gold went up. Yeah, I had the inside secret as to why gold went up. Maybe because of the news. I can, you see, what you can do is you can attach that to anything. You can say, oh, well, because of the CPI, because of the Fed, because of the Russian war, because of somebody sneezed in China, gold went up. You can put any reason to it, but here's the reality. None of the Forex traders out there knew. None of them know why it went up. None of us know, none of us might ever know why that gold went up. We know it, we can see it went up. Hindsight, we all are brilliant. We saw what it went up. Hindsight, we all know why it went up. In reality, nobody knows. The few people who know why it went up are the people who actually moved that gold price up. And that's not information for me and you. We will never be, we will never have access to that. But could we have forecast an up move to the top there? I think we did. We don't know why, we know how the market moves. And the reason we know how the market moves is because we studied the market in the past. If you study the market in the past, wave analysis allows you to understand how it moves, not why it moves. Anybody who tell you they know why it moves or why this went up or why this fall, I mean, you have to run in the opposite direction. Because then you will end up in trouble. You would always be looking for a reason as to why the market is doing what it's doing. All reasons are explanation hindsight, right? Because the reason would have to happen and the market will have to move and then they will connect it. I remember when the war started in Ukraine and I was saying, hey, this is going to drop. All this gold is going to drop and all of that. You guys should go back and watch that webinar. I think that was amazing. And it went up a little. The next morning after the war, it went up a little. And on the comment, one guy said, somebody should tell him. And I actually replied to that person immediately. I said, what you want to tell me, you come and tell me. Because when this market starts dropping, I would like you to come and explain to me why the war is not making gold still going up. That was in the comment. You guys could go and find that video and you'll see it. And then it started to drop. And that good fella disappeared. You know why he disappeared? Because he assumed that he knew why the market is going. I'm not making assumption I know anything. I'm telling you based on the patterns, this sucker is going to drop, regardless of what's happening in the world. And guess what? It dropped. The war is still on. The war hasn't stopped. And gold was still falling. Gold is going up because of the war again. Well, you believe that if you want. It has nothing to do with it. I think it's going to come down. The patterns are showing us that there's a likely possibility of this thing dropping and even breaking the low. So is it going to do that? Well, if it does that, we're going to be selling. We're selling it already. You can see that from my charts. We're selling it already. This move to the downside and this move to the downside. We got that on Friday. And is it making a consolidation here for another move to the downside? I think so. Now, there's a sharp move here that we'll have to pay attention to, which means this could go up a little more. I don't think that would be this one. I can see them dropping, pulling back, and then doing something like this before they drop. Could this actually turn to the upside completely? That is also possible, but there's no buy setup. You shouldn't be buying it at this point right now. You should be looking for a sell setup. So Monday morning come, the first thing I would say, if you have to do that, the first thing is you put a sell setup here. That entry point will change as the chart changes. But that would be the first thing I would do if I had to trade there. If I was there first thing in the Monday morning trading, that's what I would do. Now, I normally come at the end of the Asian session. So by then, there will be structural change. There'll be setups and all of that. And then I will go and I'll trade it. So as of now, I still think it's going to go down. This is called wave analysis. It doesn't go in a straight line. So we'll be looking for a sell here. By the way, this is a good one. You may want to pay attention to this because this sell might be very interesting, especially if this goes back up to the top there and then start to drop. The bigger picture of this, we showed you already. This is moving really slow, but it's moving in the right direction. The bigger picture is coming to this level. That's one. And the second one is it could actually break through that level and come to this low. Now, those are very long-term trades. You wouldn't really buy it and keep it that much. You wouldn't sell it and keep it that much. But you can take a lot of very good sells out of it, which means very fast drops and then take the profit off. Right? Because that is what we did Friday afternoon in gold and silver and Aussie. The sudden drop, we got it and we took the profit off, and now we wait to see what's happening. So euro is doing nothing. It's going sideways. You can literally see that. That means quite a lot. That means that this thing, if it stays in this range here, we're going up. If it breaks out of the range, it will have to consolidate before we come back down. I think euro could stay there for a very long time. On Pong, I give you my views on Pong already. This is an absolute low, so I think Pong would try to go up as much as possible. Even if it corrects downwards, it's going to try to go up more. So any downwards movement to the Pong, I'm looking at it as a correction. Upward movements we're buying. So we actually got this one. That trade we got because we realized that there's a flat there and we have to get this move down. And now we're looking at this. So if we get a correction here, we'll be buying that. Now, on the very lower time frame, they're kind of coming down back. If they come down back, we will be in this range. I don't think it's dropping totally, although I think that gold and silver could break the low. I don't think Pong can break the low. Structurally, I'm not seeing that trend in Pong. So if we do get it, well, then that's a different story. But as of now, I think we're even looking for upside. Aussie, we're looking for more sells, which means I expect this to consolidate somewhere in this range and drop and drop and keep dropping. Can it make a sharp pullback? Yeah, possibly, but I expect this to drop a lot. Now, would that change? Would my view on Aussie change if it starts to go back up? Of course. As of now, I'm telling you there are sell setups in it. But if this comes to this level and start to go back up with a flag here, of course, we'll go back to the top. I don't think it's going to do that because we're looking at all of this consolidation here. And in the bigger picture, that's where we normally drop from. I showed you that in the daily charts. And I said, watch that daily charts there because it could do two things. It could go, if it goes out of this structure, it's going back to the top there. But if they come down from that structure, then there's a high probability we will retest this low and then go back up. Right? Those are the two forecasts we have because the bigger picture is upside. What you're seeing there I'm drawing is the bigger picture. It has nothing to do with what's happening there. It's this bigger picture of where this can go. Now, the question we're always going to ask every time we make a low, that was there for before that up move happened. That because every time we break the lows, we're anticipating that they can do this. So if this becomes a corrective structure and drop, this candle, that arrow will go from here going up. If it makes a correction like this and it dropped, that arrow is going to go from here going up. When we see that corrective structure, we move the arrow. Right now, I think there is a corrective structure in the chart. So I do believe we're going to break that low. And when we break that low, that arrow is going to go much lower. Right? It's going to go from somewhere there. So this piece is being really sharp. I would be honest, I didn't thought we were going to get it that sharp. We know it's going up, but we didn't think that sharp is going to happen. So now we have to see if this is going to drop back. And if we're going to retest the low. As of now, we have sell setups. So Monday morning, I'll be looking for a sell here. I think it can go up a little more. I see the sharp move here, so I think they can go up a little more. Like this, make a flat, and then drop. Let's see if we get that. Right, we'll see. On the lower time frame, it's pretty nice. Right? On the lower time frame, this was the trade we got, a sell here. Because once they break that top, they're going to drop. It dropped. I don't know where my traders close the trade. That depends on each one individually because we were not in the trading room at that point. But you can see that it's making a flag here. That flag could come here, go back there, make a flat, and then I'll expect the drop. That's what we're going to get, the drop going down. New Zealand, same structure, same thing. New Zealand did break this top, and that's what we're looking for. When they started to go up really aggressive, we're like, okay, watch it. It's going to break the top. But then from that point, it could start to go back down. And it looks very corrective now. If we retrace this, you have a very nice flag forming here as well. Same thing like the Aussie. It can come here, go back a little, and then drop. If we retrace this whole thing here, we're likely going to go much lower, and we might even break out of this and retest the low. Now, I wouldn't bet on that happening. We'll have to wait and see. But because we just broke the top and we're reversing, that possibility has just increased quite a lot. The probability is now on your side. So if you've been watching my video for a while, you would know that I like to talk about the probability of each setup. I've been watching the last 2 weeks, I've been watching, and I saw one guy actually talking about the probability of the trade, but he used it a little different. He used the gambling system to explain probability there and why, if you have a trading system and you have a method, you have the probability on your side. And that's what we do here. Wave analysis puts the probability of any given trade on your side of the trade. Whether you win it or lose it is irrelevant. What they're saying is that the probability is higher to do this. It's higher to sell. You have a higher probability of winning this trade if you sell. You could still lose it, but if you work with that probability, then you're going to win more than you lose, and you're going to win bigger than you lose. And that's all you want in the trading, right? That's all you actually need. As you become a mature trader like me, that's all you need. You need a probability on your side to win. So let's go. To make money, I should say, not even to win, but to make money. Swiss kind of consolidating, pretty much like Euro. It's consolidating, very nice at the top there, which seems to look more upside. So Swiss is in line with gold, silver, Aussie, New Zealand. Euro and Pound is not in line with that. Remember I said Pound looks more upside even if they consolidate, but Swiss is starting to look like you could get a big consolidation here and go up. Right? We actually got this trade because there was this small running flat here. When it pulled back this deep, I thought they would just pull back here and go. So we had an entry there, but we removed that entry, and when it made this flat, then we took that trade to the upside. So let's see what they don't have a setup right now. There is no setup to sell. It's just consolidating. You can see this and you can see this. So I think we're still going to be in some kind of a bigger consolidation here. Looks like the first move is going to be down, but we're stuck in the sideways. CAD, okay, it's going up slowly but surely. So we'll have to wait and see how high this goes. And whether this is actually going to go up, because it looks corrective. So most likely upside. We'll have to wait to see if this actually makes a flag here to go up. If we're going to drop, we can't sell here. We'll have to wait for a flag before we decide to sell. Because coming here and going back up is very likely. That possibility exists. So be careful if you're trying to sell the CAD at that point. Yen. Okay, so we're pushing back up, and then I think last week I also showed you this pattern that we have to wait to negate this pattern. Now, yen was downside, and we are always looking for sells in it because of where it is in the weekly. But if we get buy setups, we consider them. I think we took this one, but it's a break-even trade. It didn't go anyway, so we exit the trade. I think this is going to go up a little, and if it keeps doing this, then we'll be looking for sells. But if it actually takes off really sharp, then we will assume they'll retest the top before they drop. So a lot depends on how this moves Monday. Right now, it's a buy setup. It could be very slow, which means if it goes slow, you'll get out of the trade. I know you have a flag here to buy, but if this just work, kind of do this, you'll get out of the trade. We'll look at this, and if we start to see flags and we see it, this will be selling. But if they do this, well, then that changes the whole dynamic. That is telling us there's a higher probability for it to go break the top. So that is for all the majors. I'm going to go through just a few more because I think you're going to do them. And then all the rest, if you really want to get them, it's too much. I don't want to make it too long. Just join the live session. $2. I mean, come on. Don't take it for a month. If you don't like it, then forget about it. I just take it for a month so you get a live trading. And I mean, really, it's not like I need your $100, but I just want you to decide whether this is good for you. Right? So it's up to you. Because I could go through all the charts, but then it will just waste your time at my time. It's too much time, actually. And not all of them have setups on them. So I'm going to do oil. So oil we looked at, and we looked at a pattern in oil, and we saw this, right? So we saw this coming back. We knew it's coming to at least this level. So this, I think we got to sell there, and we got to sell somewhere in here that became a break-even trade. And it was this here on Friday. And I told my traders, well, you can actually give it a try, but it's pretty risky because there's a good chance they might tag you and go back up. And looking at this, I still think we might go back up first and then drop. I'm looking at the possibility of a big flat here. So there's a good chance this week oil goes back to the top, but not very far. After that, we're going to drop. because it looks like we have an expanding plan. Now, what if I'm wrong about that? You say, well, what if oil is not going to go back up? It's going to drop. This is all the consolidation, and this thing is going to drop. You have no idea what you're saying. Well, then it will have to stay here for a good period of time. So if instead of going back up aggressively, which will give us a buy setup, we stay here, then we're selling it. And we're going to assume that that is all the consolidation. I don't like that to be all the consolidation. That is why I'm thinking there's a good chance they're going to go there before they come back. But again, I would only buy if I get a setup, and I would only sell if I get a setup. But like I said, if they consolidate long enough here, like this, for example, if they consolidate like this, we're going to sell. If they consolidate like that, we're going to sell. All those are sell setups. If they consolidate like this, we're going to sell. So if it consolidates like this, we will sell. Let's see which one comes. I'm going to give you S&P 500 because we actually paid a lot of attention to this. We actually sold it. It dropped really nice, but then it went right back up. So some of my traders managed to pull some profit out. Some of them break even, right? We sold this here, and that just dropped like this, but then it started to pull back. Some of my traders closed here. Some would have closed here, right? So what we're getting here, we're getting kind of a bigger consolidation. You can see that, which means when it breaks that top, I still expect them to come here. Now, the only way I get into a buy setup on this is if this actually, you can see that this is a running flat, right? So when it breaks that top, if they consolidate there, then we buy. If not, we're putting an entry order here for a sell to break the low. Again, it's a probability game, right? Where when it breaks that top, what's the higher probability, up or down? Down. It goes up, the probability at that moment is down because of the pattern you're looking at. So we will see, again, you have to be good at recognizing these patterns as well. So we'll see what that does. NASDAQ is pretty much the same thing. You can see that, right? And US 30 is pretty much the same. US 30 is slightly different in that they actually are above the trend line, which means we're breaking out the previous structure, right? As a pattern, we're breaking out above that, and we're consolidating above that pattern. That is not so good. That means that this could still go a little more up. It is more upside than downside. Bitcoin, let me give you a few of this. I'm not going to go to all of them. I'm just going to give you 3 of them. We'll give you an indication. This is going to consolidate and drop. This is going to consolidate and drop. This is going to consolidate and drop. And this is going to consolidate and drop. That means almost all of them will consolidate and drop. They can trade within this range, but they're all looking like a sideways consolidation. Drop one more. And once they break the lows, we're looking for buy setups again. That is how we would look at them. So I'm going to end this video here because I don't want to make it too long. And just remind you that if you want all of this and you want to have it live, which where you can ask a question, hey, why are we putting the entry order there? Or what should I do if it does this? Right? Let's say you're in a trade. Let's say you took a trade with us in the London session, and then you come in New York session. Yeah, I'm in this trade and it's not going. You wouldn't even have to ask the question. We would tell you what we're doing that trade. We update very often. And you would get to know why and how we're doing it. So would that help you to become a professional trader? No, it's going to guide you in the trades you're in. It will help you to pick the best trade, the higher probability trade. But to become a very independent trader where you're doing that on your own is taking the course. So I think you got it. Please go watch that video. It is very important you guys help me spread that video. I haven't really asked this community to help me spread anything very much. Or go and subscribe and like, and so you can do that on your own. But this video, I'm going to ask you to spread as much as you can because it's a video that is going to help newbies decide on the parameters of how they're going to choose a trading course in any given one. Like I said, if anybody else is offering you that service, you can, and you like what they do, you go for a month, you watch them do 20, 30, 40, 50 sessions, and you say, hey, I like what you're doing, I'll join you. Good with me. I'm up for that. As long as you can see what they're doing live, you see the trading setups, you see the trade, you watch them take those trades. Not hindsight when everybody come here and tell you, hey, we took this trade and we took this trade. I come and tell you we took that trade. You didn't know whether we took it. I mean, except for my traders in my room, you don't know that. So unless you join us, you wouldn't know either. Why not join and find out? Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Trade with care next week. And if you do join us, we'll see you in the trading room. Take care. Bye.